All right, veterans, I am going to give you the step-by-step process that I used to build a double-digit real estate portfolio by using the VA loan. Look, I was in the Air Force for 12 years, flying F-15Cs. I got out, and since then, I've built a complete dream life for me and my family. I live all over the planet. I don't have to work if I don't want to, all because I have maxed performed the benefits available to me because of my military service. I'm telling you this not to brag. I'm telling you this because anyone can do it if I can do it. I promise you. I'm no smarter than anybody else out there. I just explored all of my options. So if this kind of stuff interests you, please come check us out at masterthemilitary.com. We've got a lot of really good information for you there. Anyways, back to the subject at hand and why you are watching this video. The VA loan. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Back when I was first going to use the VA loan, I went to my commander at the time. I was stationed in a small town in Oregon at a guard base. I went to my commander and I said, hey, boss, I'm interested in using my VA loan. I've done a lot of research on it. I think it's going to be a good investment for me to purchase property in this town, yada, yada, yada. And he was a lieutenant colonel. And he sat me down and he said, hey, man, why would you waste your VA loan and buy property here in this town? You can only use it once. And I wouldn't use it here because you're going to PCS at some point and you're going to want to eventually buy a home for you to settle down in, your forever home or anything like that. And as he was sitting here telling me this, I knew he was wrong. And as he was sitting here telling me this, I knew he was wrong. I've done the research and I knew for a fact you could use your VA loan multiple times. And as he was sitting here telling me this, I knew he was wrong. I had done the research and I knew for a fact that you could use your VA loan multiple times. How was it that a 05 lieutenant colonel that had been in the military for, 15 years or something at that point was sitting there telling a first lieutenant the incorrect information about a VA loan? This is how few people out there have the full story about the power of the VA loan and what it can do for you. So anyways, this boss was a great guy. I just didn't listen to what he said because he had no idea what he was talking about. So I went out there on my own and I went through a very, very long process of learning how to use it and learning about real estate in general, which if you haven't checked out biggerpockets.com, it's a great resource for learning about real estate investing. Once I got as smart as I could be about the situation, I started looking around. I found out you could use your VA loan to purchase multifamily properties. You can buy a single family home, which most people do, a duplex, a triplex, or up to a fourplex. So in this town where I was living, there was a bunch of fourplexes for sale. I did a ton of research, spent months and months and months, looking around, figuring things out. And then I went for it. And I bought a 4-unit property. This was back in like 2015. So this is when interest rates were, 2.8%, not the crazy 6 or 7 or whatever it is today. So things were a lot easier back then. But this was a 4-unit property for, I don't know, whatever it was, $250,000 or something like that. Small town. Each unit in this property was rented at that moment already for like $600 a month or something. So I knew before I even moved into this place that each one of these units was renting for $600, so bringing in $2,400 a month. And when we gonked the numbers for after purchasing the property, I knew the note on it every single month, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance was going to be about $1,200 a month. So part of the VA loan stipulation is you have to move into one of the units when you buy it because this is for a primary residence. So I bought the property. I did have to have one of the tenants move out. I moved into that spot. And from day one, I was cash flow positive. So I have never been cash flow negative on that property and had to actually pay the mortgage with my own money once. And I bought it over a decade ago now. I then lived in this property for a full year straight, which is what you have to do by the letter of the law, the regulations to be able to use your VA loan. There's a way out of this. You can use your VA loan, live in it for whatever amount of time you need to. And then if you have to PCS, then you have to PCS and then you can get out of it. Or if you have to take a job in another part of the country and change towns, you can also get out of that rule as well. But so I lived in this property for a full year. And at that 1 year mark, I did the exact same thing again. The other part about VA loans like I said, a lot of people don't know you can buy a multi-family with it, is that you can use it multiple times. So I went ahead and bought another fourplex with it. The fine print on this is you can use your VA loan multiple times, but you're going to end up having to save up some money as a down payment instead of just getting it for zero down. So I took all the money that I saved from the cash flow coming in from that first property for that first year, took all of it, and then I put it down as part of the down payment for the second property. So it's another fourplex. I moved into that one, the exact same situation, cash flow positive from day one. I lived in that property for a year, and then I ended up PCSing actually overseas. So I went Oconus, and I didn't purchase anything using my VA loan, but I then waited another year or two, and I saved up all that money from those 8 units now that were all, just pumping cash my way. I took all that, and then I bought a 6-unit property back in the States. And I did this one. I've never even seen this property. I've owned it since 2018, and I've never once seen it in person. All that to say that there's absolutely no excuse for you not being able to go out there, use your VA loan to buy property, find something that's cash flow positive. And then if you're telling me that you can't find property in your town where you're living, then you need to figure it out. If you need to move to make it happen, maybe you need to move to make it happen. Cool. Well, that's my story. That's how I ended up with 14 units. I've got other stuff, and I've had other properties in other countries, but that's just kind of the core foundation that I still have. I haven't sold any of those properties. They've been wonderful for me. I'm going to keep them until the day that I die and pass them on to my kids. My net worth is what it is right now because of these properties. So I bought all these back in 2015, 2016, 2018, I think, somewhere in there. And the market has absolutely skyrocketed since then. So a big chunk of my net worth is because of these properties. So you could do the exact same thing. Do your research, figure out if it's something that makes sense for you. Come check us out at masterthemilitary.com. I'll see you there. Have a good one. See you.